the investment against the return. We fund, I think, maybe a couple of $100,000 a year of projects, but the return has been many, many millions in terms of successful funded projects.
We are aggressive at identifying bright, young people who haven't had grants before, because it's important for us, we feel, to get the next generation involved in this cutting-edge research. And so we take a very hands-on approach in doing that. And we've had a phenomenal success. So we've given out 132 awards. The bulk, vast majority, are to young women and minority investigators. And we've only given out, I think, $2.3 million over the more than 10 years we've been in business, and they've generated $75 million worth of new research money, external research money, as well as over 240 papers that they've published. So it's been really very gratifying and fun to watch these young people blossom and become your colleagues. So, and then they become the mentors. So that's very nice to see. But the goal of the CFAR, and I think of any professor worth their salt, is that not only should they be proud of their own research and cutting edge, but are they training the next generation?
I can actually talk a personal story about mentorship. So Dr. Iran has very successfully mentored me as my advisor and helped me get a doctoral degree in epidemiology. It's all collaborative. I use the cohort data to write my dissertation. So that's one direct hands-on example of how the core mentors junior level people in the division.
In the late 80s, the beginning of the campus-wide course on AIDS, which has been running consistently since then, enrolled this semester 430 students of all different types. And that is an opportunity to educate the students at Carolina in the issues surrounding HIV and AIDS. But what we have done with that is taped and recorded them as videos and shared those with other campuses in the state university system and even some private campuses. We've educated thousands of Carolina students about HIV and AIDS. And when I go to an international AIDS meeting, like the one in Mexico or the one in Thailand, and I bump into former students from the AIDS course in the hallways of those meetings who say their careers are now doing HIV-related research or service, it makes me realize that the impact is enormous. And people use the material and the information from that course to start moving in a career direction. And that's incredible.
It's amazing
for that to happen. So, you know, kudos to Carolina.
We've recruited a lot of faculty from other campuses to work with us as a result of the CFAR.
The Code Office has been active for about 3 years now, a little under 3 years. And the success that we have had in those 3 years is immense. The partners that we've built, the people that we've reached, the information that we've disseminated is actually, I think, very central to the work being done at the CFAR. And the CFAR as a whole, I mean, the research that is coming out of UNC, RTI, and FHI is groundbreaking. We have some amazing strides are being made at these three institutions towards, you know, the race for the cure, as they say. But it's not solely us doing the work, it's the community members as well. So, I mean, we may be a small group, but we're actually relatively large when you look at the big picture and all the people that we partner with. It's the partners that help us achieve what we've done so much.
When I started in the Corps, we were a Corps of 2 people. And now we are a Corps of over 10 really fantastic scientists. So I think that's tremendous growth. So I think our work is really critical. And we're also very unique because we are the only analytical chemistry, clinical pharmacology Corps in the Centers for AIDS Research.
Being that we're a new Corps, I've been very pleased, and I think it's a highlight with how the Corps has grown over these first really four years. You know, we've doubled the number of staff that we have, and our operating budget is nearly quadrupled over these first 4 years. So I think I've been very pleased with how the Corps has grown and sort of developed a niche, if you will, within the UNC CFAR community here.
We do a lot of training, especially internationally. There's a laboratory that UNC maintains in Malawi, and we train somebody pretty much every year to go and spend a year in Malawi and work in the lab. Another one is we trained someone from the Democratic Republic of Congo to come and do some processing of samples. He wanted to learn how to take dried blood spots and actually get some virus out of that and look for sequences. So that's been a big project we've been involved with. So he went back and he's been working in the lab there. We've also had some people come from Russia for some training in terms of how to run the lab and acute testing and stuff like that.
And I think as we gradually try and integrate with the work of a number of the other CFAR cores, this really becomes clear to me. And that is that the whole idea of national boundaries in HIV research is a very flawed concept, that there can be domestic work that's very, very applicable in other countries. There can be research ethics questions that are really conundrums. They get identified globally, but they're also quite relevant here domestically. They're very relevant to vulnerable populations in North Carolina recruited into clinical trials for HIV. And I think there's a lot of lessons learned from our international research that we bring home here.